Hello everyone and welcome back to Grand Arena Season 15. This one is a 5v5 Grand Arena without ships, which is a welcome change because it's been 3 seasons of 3v3 and been looking forward to a change. So in my group this time, unfortunately, not many good opponents in the sense that only two of them have got Darth Revan and none of them have got Darth Malak. And even the two who do have Darth Revan have him at low 200 speeds, so it's really not much of a competition. Um, I am facing Renato this time in this Grand Arena session, the first one. Um, my opponent Renato has got a decent roster, 4.2 million GP, same as mine, but um, with the biggest hole in the roster being no Darth Revan or Darth Malak. But they've got every other major tune at a decent speed. They've got C3PO, Grievous with the Zeta, Chewie and Django with the Zeta as well, even Padme with a double Zeta. So they've got a decent roster, just no Sith Empire. So I'm not anticipating much of a fight for this one. So um, I think this whole Grand Arena session, all three matches are probably just going to be more or less practice. But yeah, let's just take it one match at a time and see how it goes. So I've set a reasonably easier defense for my opponent, not nothing too tough. I didn't put my Darth Revan or Jedi Knight Revan on defense or my CLS, Treya, Padme. None of these teams I've kept on defense, but I have kept a tough defense. Relatively speaking, my sisters, they are my second best modded team after my Sith Empire team. I've kept really good mods on them, uh, between 220 to 240 speed on each of them, and plenty of crit chance, crit damage, tons of health on Daka and zombies. So that's a pretty good team. They've got one hold, and my opponent hasn't been able to clear it. I doubt whether this section is going to get cleared. And then I've got my prepared scoundrels. It's a favorite of mine. I've put that on defense down here. Three attempts against that, and they've managed to kill L3, I'm guessing with an IPD, but the rest of my team seems to be untouched so far. And they have cleared the bottom zone over here. One attempt on my Django and three attempts on my JTR. So I decided to keep JTR on defense this time just because I usually have it on offense, and I wanted to try some different stuff on offense, so I kept it on defense, and I was surprised to see it get three holds. I guess it could be expected because people really are not used to fighting JTRs anymore. It's been over a year since JTR was in the arena, before Treya and probably just before Palpatine. And in TWs also, it's a team which is usually kept on offense. You usually don't run into JTR walls, except if there's a special like droid special TB. Sometimes a droid special TW, they keep JTR walls, but that's something that people usually forget how to play against, and they may not have a good counter too. So Night Sisters obviously are a very obvious counter, but if your opponent has kept Night Sisters on defense, then and they don't want to waste a meta team like a Revan or a CLS against this, then they might actually end up struggling a little bit against JTR just because they're not used to fighting JTR. So that's the reason I got three holds on it. Maybe they underestimated it and went in with weaker teams, or maybe they're just not used to it. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that. And at the back over here, I just had an Ewoks team, which was one shot, probably with troopers. And at the top, the section which hasn't been cleared, at the back, I've kept my Grievous team with a reworked Dooku. And then I also have an Empire team, EP team. I decided to keep EP with Darth Basti, Thrawn, and Shore, along with EP Vader. Just wanted to see how this works out. I mean, in 3v3, EP, Dark Basti, and Vader, EP, Dark Basti, and Thrawn, in fact, it was quite a quite a troublesome matchup. I faced it in 3v3 last time, and it took me two battles to get through. My Jedi Basti lead failed completely against it. So I'm curious to see how the addition of Vader and Shore, which is part of the classic EP team, I was curious to see how this performs, but I don't think my opponent is going to reach this section. So it's probably going to get zero battles on it. But maybe next time I'll keep this team in the front, so my opponent is forced to fight it, and just to see how it does on defense. So that's my defense. My opponent has kept reasonably easy defense. I don't anticipate much problem, so I'll probably end up doing some testing over here. They've kept a Treya team with Basti and Thrawn. Typically, Basti is seen under EP lead, so maybe my opponent plans to use EP somewhere else. But it's a really strange team because he doesn't have Nihilus with his Treya, and he has Vader, which you would usually tend to use under EP. So that's a weird team. There's no tank in there except for Thrawn. Usually Treya you see with Sith Trooper or at least a pre-tanking taunt, but there's nothing like that in here. But yeah, I'll probably use my CLS against it. Um, have Evox team over here, which is pretty weak Evox. I should be able to use troopers to clear that pretty easily. Yeah, it's only 20k health, 15k protection, so it's nothing much. But let me see if I want to try anything different over there. He's got his sisters on defense, double Zeta the Sarge, um, with Acolyte instead of Spirit. So I don't think my opponent has Spirit. And then a non-Zeta the Cart team, Old Republic team. Probably my opponent might have been trying for Malik, which is why he wanted to get all his Old Republic above 17.5k in GP, which is why it's usually rare to see this team fully gold without any Zetas on it. So the only thing I can think of is my opponent was trying to get get every all his old Republic up to 17.5k GP for the Malik event, which is why none of the Zetas are in here. So that should be a reasonably easy team. So I wanted to try some different stuff. I've kept all my good stuff on offense. I've got Galactic Republic. I've got my Jedi teams, both of them. I've got and I've also kept my Scoundrel team on offense as well. So let's try out some fun stuff. So against the Treya team, I was thinking of trying out. I mean, obviously CLS is a very easy counter to that, but given that there's Darth Basti in there as well, who debuffs so much, I wanted to see if I can go in with a Galactic Republic to see how effective that would be. Since my Galactic Republic, I think, is going to go first because his Thrawn is the fastest character over here at 278 speed. Let's see how fast Vader is actually. 192, so not too fast. Even with the speed bump, it'll be about 260. It'll be slower than Thrawn. So, and my Padme is about 292. So I can go there with Padme and my rest of my Galactic Republic, and the advantage of that is, once protection up gets spread on the Galactic Republic team, you none of the debuffs from these guys are going to land. Fracture is probably going to land because that's unevadable. But I'm curious to see whether that lands or not. None of Basti's debuffs are definitely going to land. Definitely Fear is not going to land, and none of the other debuffs are going to land. And probably Pain and the other stuff is also going to not going to land. But I'm really not sure about Fracture and Isolate. So curious to see if what will happen with Fracture and Isolate over here. So let's go in with that. It's just an experiment against Treya. Treya is a tough team, so I don't know whether Galactic Republic will be able to pull it off. There's no Nihilus, so there's at least we've got that going for us. But but it's an experiment just to see the the limits to which we can stretch with Galactic Republic on offense. I tried in 3v3 Galactic Republic against a Jedi Knight Revan team, and they are not able to take it down. But I think against Treya they've got a better chance. But let's see what happens. All right. Let's. So my Padme is going to go first. I'm going to give protection up to everyone, and then start working on. I'm going to start working on Bastila Shan Fallen. Okay, so looks like Fracture went through the protection up. It so debuffs don't land, but unavoidable debuffs like Fracture and Isolate do land. So I think that is interesting to know. Okay, let's go, and we've got Isolate. Let's see what Isolate does on them. And we are stuck behind the taunt. All right, let's start working on Dark Basti. Clear the debuffs. Now, Ahsoka was the unfortunate person to get fractured because she is the one who assists, and I'm not going to get any assists out of her. Okay, let's. So this is probably not going to go anywhere. Let's get some protection up. Oh, isolate. So that's not going to happen. So all of the special stuff that her leadership gives is not going to work with the isolate. And looks like Treya seems to be targeting Padme exclusively with all her isolates. Team definitely has a lot of survivability, but it doesn't seem to be making much headway. No damage. Okay, big hit. And the problem was because there's all these assists that these guys do. Um, what ends up happening is they end up losing health, tons of health and protection. Let me get rid of Vader, and then I'll work on Thrawn. Yeah, problem is her none of Padme's good stuff like the protection up and all that is not going to work. And none of her stuns are landing as well, which is weird. All right. At least I was able to take out a couple of characters. Yeah, the problem is this team, the Galactic Republic team, relies completely um, on courage for damage, and courage is only obtained when you build up protection up, and with Padme isolated, you are not able to get protection up on your allies because she's one major source of protection up, and due to that, you're not able to get courage in because courage does percentage health damage, which is great against Treya actually, but which is why Chewie is so effective against Treya teams. But we're not able to build up enough protection up, which is why we are not able to do much damage. Now over here we've got 5 stacks of courage, so that would translate to 40% health damage. So I think we can get rid of Thrawn over here. But of course we evaded. All right, let's see if we can. Not much. So isolate prevents courage as well, which is unfortunate. Yeah, Treya just seems to be targeting Padme for isolate, which is interesting. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish this off with some other team. I was curious about it. So maybe on the flip side, this tells us that Padme, Treya is a good counter for Padme. As long as you isolate her, prevents all the protection up buffs and all of her leadership stuff to going about because she's not able to call in any assists. She's not able to give protection up or heal allies. And even on a basic where she gives protection up, she's not able to do that. So a huge source of protection up is eliminated at once when you take care of Padme's isolates. All right, let's finish the Ewoks with some troopers, and then let's finish off the guys at the top and see what we have behind, and then we can try some stuff below. So this is the standard tankless trooper team that I usually use. I check speeds. I think I'll be able to outspeed the Evox, and I believe there's a few guys who are weak. Logray, Wicket, Elder. I think Logray is the weakest. Yeah. So let me. No, I think Wicket might be. Let me target Wicket. There you go. Let's reduce some cooldowns, and yeah, this was easy. Okay, so let's see what we can do against the guys at the top. Treya and Scion with the, well, Thrawn is almost dead. I could have actually even used troopers against them, but that's fine. What do I have that I can use against these guys? Hmm. I need some high damage guys. Let's see. All right, let me try a Akbar lead with the. I don't have many. Well, these guys are going to assist. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, they're almost at full health and full protection. And the isolate is probably going to screw with us. Maybe I should just take my rebel team and finish it off. Yeah, I've got more than enough for other zones. I don't think I'll need my rebel. I have my two Jedi teams. I've got my scoundrel team. I think I should be able to take care of the rest. So let me just use CLS Han Chewie and finish those guys off. Because Treya is another one where you don't want to get stuck behind. Don't want to waste any more map battles than I have to. So I'm just going to use these three guys and and finish it off. Just hope the wrong one doesn't get fractured. Okay, let me get rid of Thrawn. And let's get rid of Scion. All right, now it's a easy job controlling Treya. Okay, so let's see what's behind here, and then we can decide what to take below. All right, here he's got a CLS team in here, fully Zeta as well. Man, I wish I'd saved Galactic Republic for this. That would have been really good. Oh, he's got all the Zetas out here. This is a formidable team. Really wish I had said Galactic Republic. Look at that speed on that, 290. That's amazing. 290 speed. Um, CLS, and let's see. Just curious to see the mods and the rest of these guys. Crit damage 254 plus 800 offense. So this is a premium team. Ideally, I should take a 270 really fast R2 as well. And Han is going to shoot first and give turn meter to everyone. And these guys are going to go early. 244. Tons of potency. All right, so these guys are formidable, so I'll need to use something really hefty against it. Phoenix won't be an issue. I can probably do a Wampa on that. Um, can probably use a Treya against the Night Sisters, and against Karth, I can maybe use First Order. So yeah, I've got my full Jedi team available, Jedi Knight Revan. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, let's clear this zone below over here, and then get on with the rest of it. I think that's the reason my opponent was struggling with my defense. He didn't have his CLS. I won't be surprised if he's kept his Jedi Knight Revan behind this as well, just to stump me with some extra defense. All right, so let's clear the Night Sister team with this. Yeah, you really don't need more than these three to clear a Night Sister team. The main the main danger of a Night Sister team is the control that they have due to stun, and the uh, the best thing about Treya lead against them is two things. One is Treya lead dispels all the stuns, and so stuns really don't work to control a Treya led Sith trio team. But at the same time, plague is another thing which really kills Night Sister teams, which really kills teams going against Night Sisters. And Treya has got so much heal. Anytime that a trio attacks an enemy with debuffs, you get healed a lot. Just because of that, there's plague never sticks with Night Sister teams. So yeah, so Treya is an extremely effective counter for that reason. See, none of the stuns are going to stick, and healing is immediate with these guys, which is the reason I think even Galactic Republic is might be a really good counter against really good Night Sister teams, because when you think about it, once your Galactic Republic is has got protection up, none of the debuffs are going to stick. So what that means is all these stuns that Night Sisters rely on so heavily, and there are up to three Night Sister teams which have stuns. There's three Night Sister characters. There's Daka and Asajj who have stuns on their basic, and then you've got Spirit as well. So none of the stuns are going to stick once Galactic Republic has their protection up. So that method of control is completely gone. And at the same time, Galactic Republic heals a lot as well. There's tons of healing from everyone, so that shouldn't be an issue as well. Plus, it'll take a while for these guys to get through the the protection up that Galactic Republic has. And one of the weak spots of Night Sisters is AOE's, and Galactic Republic has got a probably one of the best AOE's in the game, in the form of um, Jedi Knight Anakin. Now, his AoE is capable of taking out really good teams, and yeah, a weak Night Sister team will be no issue at all for that AoE. So I think against a really tough Night Sister team, if you don't want to waste your Treya, or you don't have your Treya, it might actually be a good idea to use your Galactic Republic. That's something that I wanted to test out, but probably the next Grand Arena I can test that out to see if against really good Night Sisters how well these guys do. Oh, I should have reduced Scion's turn cooldown so that he could have dispelled. All right, this should be done now. Yeah, because you don't always have your tray available. Sometimes you have to use it against a tough team, and yeah, you might want to use that against it. Now against the Cart team, this one, I need something with buff immunity. If I had my Grievous, I would have used that, and that would have been a very easy counter. But I do have my own scoundrel team, um, my own Cart Mission Johani. That probably will be overkill. What else can I use against that? I have Jedi. I have maybe I'll just try that out. Yeah, got Rex Wampa. I've got First Order. All right, let me try First Order because First Order is actually supposed to be a pretty good counter against this, and I wanted to demonstrate this in a 5v5 setting. First Order, the reason that they're a good counter against Cart teams is they have both the Kylo Ren and Kylo Ren Unmasked, have they don't get affected by dots or percentage health effects. Um, well, they do get dazed by mission. So and daze completely neutralizes first order teams. So maybe that might not be the best idea over here. But but I have seen first order teams take out card teams pretty effectively. Wampa is a Rex Wampa actually is a pretty good combo. Maybe I should try that Rex Wampa because Wampa has got good AOE and he's got daze as well, which is going to prevent all these guys from assisting. In addition, we would also need someone to dispel. Let's see who we have who can dispel or apply buff immunity because we don't want Zalbar taunting. Maybe we can use a nest just to dispel the taunts and Visas for some healing and cleansing because you need double cleanse is always good against a Karth team. You have got Rex over here who cleanses and gives tenacity up, which is great against Karth because they won't be able to land dots. And you've got Visas who is going to cleanse and revive if things go south for one of them. Who else can I take? I need a tank. Maybe I'll take Scattered Rebel Pathfinder. He's another source of turn meter. So the whole thing around this team is just feeding turn meter to everyone. Rex is obviously the one who gives turn meter to himself and the team quite a lot. You've got Wampa who, when he attacks a debuffed enemy, he gets excess turn meter, and if he's green, he gets 20% more turn meter. And then we've got Scattered Rebel Pathfinder who gets 15% turn meter on basic. So let me test this team out. Let's see how it does. If you have Grievous on offense, or if you have even if you have just B2, plug him in with any team, and you'll do great against this. All right, let me see if I can get rid of Candra's. Okay, so because Visa's hit below health with her special, um, which gave armor penetration to everyone, defense penetration. That's why Zalbar ended up taunting. So I can do one of two things. I can either daze everyone or I can dispel Zalbar's taunt. Let me just go ahead and daze everyone because I don't want any assists happening. Okay, let's land a. Yep, so that's the advantage because we've got Nest who counters any of the AoEs that these guys do, and they've got three AoEs over here, four actually. Except for mission, everyone else has got AoEs. Any AoEs that these guys do, Nest is going to counter and end up dispelling the taunt from Zalbar, which is great. Let's see if he can't work on mission and stun her. Another great synergy between Wampa and Nest is Nest applies um, what do you call it? Expose on her basic. So anytime that any of these guys use AoEs, Nest is going to apply expose, and Wampa stuns on expose on his basic. So you and both Wampa and Nest have got 100% counter chance. So any time these guys do AoEs, Nest goes and applies expose, and Wampa goes and stuns. So that's always great to see. All right, so Johanny cleansed. Let's see if we can't get rid of one of these guys from here. Okay, so this guy's going to come back, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, so I'm not too worried about that. But he might go again soon since he doesn't have any buffs on him. Well, now he has buffs. Okay. All right, so let's dispel that taunt and let's heal up a little bit and give everyone 15% turn meter. And let me stun this guy as well. There you go. Pretty easy to control with this team. Um, so yeah, so that's, I mean, this obviously would have been a little tougher if they had the Zeras. They would have been healing more. But the assist thing doesn't change at all in both situations. So as you can see over here, both Nest as well as Wampa had days. So uh, that helped to keep these guys in check in terms of assisting. And and yeah, the dispel and the stun from both Nest and Wampa basic, that helps with these guys as well. So in case you don't have your General Grievous or B2 to apply buff immunity against the cart team, you can always go with the Rex Wampa combo. Right, just as I'd guessed, he does have his Jedi Knight Revan on defense at the back. So that's interesting to see. So he hasn't kept anything on offense, which is why he struggled so much. I think he was probably hoping that I don't clear his defense. Well, I already have more points than him, and I doubt whether he's going to clear any of my teams over here because he kept his Treya, CLS, as well as Jedi Knight Revan, which are his three best teams on defense. So he's definitely not going to clear this. So we've already won. Whatever else we do is just bonus. I am going to try some stuff against this. I wish I had my Galactic Republic to use against the CLS team because CLS is an extremely assist-based team, and especially if you have the unique on Padme, which gives 40% protection up when somebody attacks out of turn, that would have been this team would have had a lot of survivability against CLS. So I wouldn't have minded using my Galactic Republic against this, but let's see what we can use against this now. All right. I've got my crew. I have my scoundrels. Now, crew takes reduced damage from percentage health effects, and so does Malik. So maybe some combination of crew and Malik could work over there. I do have my Jedi Knight Revan as well. That would probably be an easy win against a CLS, but I'm wondering if I should use my Jedi Knight Revan against this. Yeah, because this one is the classic tough um, Jedi Knight Revan arena meta 301. So he's pretty fast. None of my teams are going to outspeed that. Um, he's put everyone here: Jolie, Basti, GK. So this is going to be interesting to take out. And there are very few teams in a 5v5 setting which can take out a Jedi Knight Revan team. Obviously, another Jedi Knight Revan mirror, or a Darth Revan, or Treya, Thrawn, and all of that. So we don't have any of that. Well, we do have. Well, we can't use our Darth Malak team because we've already used up portions of it in the Darth Revan team. We've used up portions of it in other teams. No Darth Basti and all. We do have our Jedi Knight Revan, but I hate mirrors, and I want to use something else for that. So I'm going to try something different. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm wondering if my scoundrels, Old Republic scoundrels, will do anything much. It all depends on who gets marked. But yeah, let me try this. Been curious about this team. Let's see. Where do we have Sith? All right. So in 3v3 setting, I used Malik, Zalbar, and Mission. Just because Malik, he's got 100%, all of his protection gets converted to health. So the moment anyone uses an AoE or attacks, he falls below 100% health. And the Zalbar ends up taunting and having retribution. And that converting that to into 5v5 setting, I watched yesterday, the Operation Metaverse stream, and good old Maurice mentioned that he kept this thing on defense. So I was quite intrigued by that. I was wondering how this team would perform on defense, but it's my opponents usually don't attack me on defense, so I thought I'll try this out on offense against a tough team to see how this works. I don't think this would. Well, actually, this may work against the CLS team, just because the CLS team has got a lot of crit, so they're going to end up getting feared a lot if they hit Malik. No, but they've got Chewie in there, and yeah, it's probably going to lose against the CLS team. It's probably going to lose against the Jedi Knight Revan team as well, but since I've already won, I think I'll just save my Jedi Knight Revan for the CLS team, and just try this against Jedi Knight Revan to see how this does. Yeah, let's just see how this does. I don't think my opponent has anything to take out the rest of my battle, so I've already won for all practical purposes. So let's see what happens over here. I want to see uh, how much fear actually ends up affecting these guys. Candrass was marked and taken out, so not too good. These guys are not even getting a turn. All right, so who can we, what does this do? This dispels all bugs and shocks them. So let's shock General Kenobi. Oh, that thing can't be evaded. All right, this team has got too much damage. So I doubt whether I'm going to be able to do anything. All right, so Fear seems to be landing, but not doing anything much against these guys. He's definitely very survivable, and good thing Jedi don't have healing immunity. Okay, let's see if we can't get rid of Yoda. Oh, that's gone. Right, so this team didn't do too well against Jedi Knight Revan, as expected. I mean, Jedi Knight Revan is a really tough team to take out, and especially in a 5v5 setting, they have very few counters just because of the amount of revives that you have, the amount of healing that they have, and they get one free life with Jolie's Savior. So I wasn't expecting that team to do anything much. Let's just take this team out with the CLS and then try some other stuff out against the Jedi Knight Revan down below. All right. I don't have my GK, so I will need to. Let's go pure offense. Or maybe I use. Yep, let's just do this. Maybe I don't need to use Basti. Maybe I can use Old Ben. I need a healer. Yeah, let me go with these guys. A couple of healers, a tank, and a couple of attackers. Okay. All right. This should get the job done. I wonder why my Revan didn't go first. He was fast. All right, let's give Master's Training to Yoda. Let's get some stealth. Spread some buffs around. And see if we can't take out this guy. All right, so let's get rid of C-3PO. And I wonder why my old Ben went first, because I didn't think he was that fast. Because my Revan was definitely faster than that. I wonder if the mods got screwed up somehow. All right. Let's see if we can't finish off CLS. All right. Now we just need to take care of Jolie or Chewie. Okay. Spread some buffs around. And we can take care of Chewie with that. 109k. That was impressive. So that's the reason that Jedi Knight Revan is still king in 5v5. I mean, even the toughest teams it can take out with complete ease. No problem at all. And it's great on defense. Extremely good on defense. Okay, so against this one, what do I use? Maybe I should have saved my Malak to be used with Darth Revan, but anyway, that's fine. Let's who all do we have over here? That's a weak team. All right, let's just solo with okay, let's use my leftover Sith. Okay. No, maybe not. Let's see who else I have. Oh, yeah, actually, Sith is not a bad idea because Maul has got days. So let's use these guys. Maybe save my Sith Trooper. And which other attackers do I have? All right, let's just throw that guy in. Okay, let's Start working on these guys and apply some daze. That should hold them at bay. Healing immunity. And let's see how much damage this one can do. Healing immunity again. All right, so Maul has taken care of business. He had extra damage against Jedi, which is why he was so good against Kanan. See if he can't get rid of Sabine. All right, there we go. Chopper has started taunting, so we need to get rid of that guy. Daze again. And let's finish off Sabine. She had backup plan. Okay, let's keep going. Now this should finish her off. All right. Um, cool. Yeah, this match is getting interesting. I like to take in weak teams against weak teams just to make it an even match. All right. Some more days. And this should finish off our chopper. And now we just go against, finish off Hera, and then we should be done. By this time, um, our Maul has started building up tons of damage and health as well. All right. So Sirius lead is one of those universal leads where it ends up giving you crit damage and crit chance to all your allies, regardless of faction, which is why I sometimes like to use him, especially against teams which heal a lot. Sirius has got healing immunity on basic, just like Kylo Ren. Um, it's always good to have that. All right, so this zone is clear as well. We just have the Jedi Knight Revan team, which I don't think I'll be able to clear. Let's try some stuff and see what works. I think, let's see, who else do I have? So these are the only major Sith that I have. Yeah, nobody else. All right, and I have, yeah, so HK is luckily very anti-Jedi, extremely anti-Jedi. Inflicts tenacity down, and under Darth Revan, it's going to end up dispelling all of the foresight, which is the irritating piece under this guy. Um, who else can I take? I've gotten rid of all my other teams, so I don't really have an option. Let me see who else can synergize under these guys. Sith Empire allies, okay. Inflict death mark. All right. I wonder if I should go with an unevadable stunner like Crew, or maybe just save Crew for a separate takeout. Hmm. Maybe Basti and Ezra. Yeah, because I anyway don't have enough for a full Jedi team, but I do have enough for yeah, I don't have any good Jedi left, but I do have enough for a decent First Order team for a cleanup in case this doesn't manage to clear everyone. Yeah, I'm hoping this team survives long enough for HK to get a get one of his executes out to take care of Jolie or someone. All right. Yep, not much hope for this team because it's preloaded, so I don't know if this is going to do the job, but yep, this is the best I have. Let's see. Let's see how it does. Okay, the whole team is going like once or twice before my team even gets to go. But the good thing is, there's no taunt out there, so my Revan is free to apply insanity. And let me start dispelling that taunt and start working on one of these guys. Maybe, yeah, let's uh, let's apply some shock and or he won't be able to taunt, but let's apply some. Oh, wow, that was easy. So yeah, I mean, Deathmark is a huge thing, and now Revan won't even be able to be revived by Jolie. So even if I lose the match from here on, I can easily clean it up with crew just because Revan's leadership is not there. So even in a weakened state, Darth Revan, even if he doesn't have his full team around him, he can do a really good job of cleaning up a Jedi Knight Revan team. He was designed to be the perfect counter to Jedi Knight Revan. And very soon HK's hit is going to come up as well. Now Darth Revan is gone. All right, let's take out Jolie. There he goes. Now Savior also, since is not there, so Savior also is not going to be triggered, which is great. Now you notice that over here, HK's grenade thing was evaded. So only if Jedi Knight Revan is in the lead and still alive, it's only then that all the foresight gets dispelled by Sith Empire during their turns. So in that case, all the foresight would have been evaded if Darth Revan was still alive. All the foresight would have been evaded, and he would have applied tenacity down. But because Darth Revan is dead, his thing got evaded, which is unfortunate. Let's see if we can't take out Yoda or at least stun him. Okay, so he's gone. Let's take out Jolie, Hermit Yoda or Grandmaster Yoda, and we're done. That's it. Even if these guys take out HK, which looks likely, I can clean up with my crew. So that wasn't too bad. I wasn't expecting to take out three characters in a Jedi Knight Revan team because with all the revives and saviors and all of that, that team is a handful. But yeah, I think as long as you have Darth Revan in the lead, it's a piece of cake. All right, let's clean up with our first order, and then we can call it a night. Okay, so let's stun Basti because otherwise she can cleanse GK, and let's take her out. Okay, let's stun him as well and take him out. There. Yep, easy cleanup. All right, so full clear, and I don't think my opponent is going to clear me. I did lose a couple of battles here and there, just because I did not expect his CLS and his Jedi Knight Revan to be at the back. But but overall, it was interesting. I got to try out a couple of things. The first thing I learned was um, Padme is definitely not good against Treya. We already established that she's not good against Jedi Knight Revan in a 3v3 setting. I think with the right mods and Zetas almost fully maxed, she's quite capable of taking a Jedi Knight Revan team in a 5v5 setting. But where Padme really excels is going against enemies which are debuff based and which are assist based. So, so teams like Karth or well, Darth Malak, obviously, because they apply a lot of debuffs, which can be converted to courage, and Night Sisters as well, because debuffs can be first converted to courage, and they can be prevented altogether, especially the stuns. So those are the kind of teams I think that Padme is really good against. Definitely not Treya, and definitely not EP. Probably the only Sith team that Padme should be used against, and when fully maxed is Darth Malak. I think she gives maximum bang for the buck over there, and there are quite a few guides out there on how to use Darth or Padme against Darth Malak. I was hoping to run into a Revan Darth Malak team in this Grand Arena so that I can test out Padme against that. But there are no Malaks in my group, but at least I think I might be able to test it out against a Darth Revan soon. What else did we learn over here? Um, Nothing interesting over here. What did I use to counter the? Oh yeah, we used Rex Wampa against the Cart team, which is a good counter against them. Wampa, especially if you've got the unique Zeta, also applies healing immunity, which helps, and that's AoE healing immunity, which helps stop any of these guys from healing on Karth Zeta. So that completely nullifies Karth Zeta if you have a Wampa unique Zeta on that. And if you don't have Juhani, who cleanses healing immunity, this team essentially doesn't have any cleanse. Apart from Mission, who self cleanses, the other guys don't have any cleanse at all. So healing immunity will stick. So Rex Wampa is a very strong counter to this team if you don't want to waste a meta team on this. Galactic Republic is overkill against this. First Order works well as well, as long as you can keep the taunt on crew so that the dots don't clear your other teams. And anything which can apply days basically. Really good Evox actually can do pretty well against these guys. Fast Paplu can outspeed and then go ahead and Logray can daze these guys and then you can dismantle them one by one. So Evox have are proven to be really effective against these guys as well. So those are some good counters that you can use against Karth team if you don't want to waste a meta team. Against Jedi Knight Revan, obviously, both the Revans are going to work great, and Treya with Thrawn. But yeah, there are limited counters, and once you build your Padme up, that's going to work as well against that. Um, yep, and then we have the CLS team, which was this is I think one of the better CLS teams that I've run into in Grand Arena. I usually don't see CLS on defense, but I was pretty impressed by this team, both with the speed and damage. If I didn't have Jedi Knight Revan, I don't know what I would have used to take it out. Um, Probably would have tested my Padme against it. Yeah, yep. Um, I really haven't tried First Order against a CLS team. I know that Crew and Kylo can hold their own because Chewie's 20% damage doesn't do much damage to them. But the other members of the First Order team will probably melt before these guys. So that's probably not a good idea. So yeah. So I think what I'm going to do next is save my Padme team till I see what's there at the back, because in case I run into troublesome teams like this, um, Padme is always a really good wild card to have to handle tricky situations like these. All right, so that's it for the Grand Arena for today. Um, Not too many points. A couple of times had to go in for repeat battles, but this is more than enough for me to win this session. Hopefully, I get a one of the guys with Darth Revan in the next matchup, so that we get to try our Padme against that. I'm hoping to one shot Darth Revan with Padme. Let's see if that works out in the next matchup. All right, that is it for this session of Grand Arena for the first match. Thanks for joining in. I will catch you guys on Friday.